Yeah, my birthday's.
I want to see that.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open the meeting for the Angola Common Council to September 5th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Crum. Here. Councilmember Olson. Councilmember Armstrong.
Here.
Councilmember Martin. Here. Councilmember McDermott.
Here.
Press approval of the August 21st minutes.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second. Seconded, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Under unfinished business, ordinance number 1738, 2023, an ordinance fixing the compensation of elected officials of the city of Angola, Indiana for the year 2024, third reading.
Second.
Move to second, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. New business. Ordinance number 1739-2023, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Angola, Steuben County, Indiana, designating an area as an economic development target area for purposes of making said area eligible for deduction from assessed valuation for the redevelopment or rehabilitation of real estate, Terrace Place Apartments, first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Resolution 2023-853, a declaratory resolution of the Common Council of the City of Angola, Steuben County, Indiana, declaring an area as an economic revitalization area for assessed value for the redevelopment or rehabilitation of real estate Terrace Place Apartment for attachment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Moving right along. Okay, this is my 23rd and last budget that I'm presenting to you tonight. Every year has had its different challenges, and the 2024 budget is no different. I need to thank all of our department heads and our clerk treasurer Ryan Herbert for the hard work in helping put this budget together. The city employees have a great understanding of budgeting for needs instead of wants. And because of their knowledge, best practices, hard work, and good old common sense, the city of Angola is in great shape financially. At the same time, we are able to do the necessary projects to keep our city safe and still do the things that help create a better quality of life for our citizens as well as our visitors. The proposed 2024 budget will be $22,615,000. This is 9.5%. This is 9.5% lower than the 2023 budget and 7.6% higher than the 2022 budget. Our maximum tax levy will be $6,550,601 compared to this year's at $6,284,664. We have not yet received our new assessed valuation for 2024, but we are in great shape and great financial shape as we have good balances in all of our accounts. We have several projects planned for this next year, and I will talk about just a few of them. The city is planning on reconstructing portions of East Gilmore Street and North Washington Street, and we will also be milling and resurfacing portions of West Pleasant Street, West Prospect, and Williams Streets. We are also planning on expanding the Farmers Park playground equipment in 2024. We will be doing the engineering for the South Wayne streetscape as well as finishing up the south leg of the city bike and walking trail from Commons Park to the South Wayne Street city limits. We will also be doing the engineering on the North Wayne Street sidewalk and storm sewer that is scheduled by NDOT for 2025 or 2026. Wastewater will be doing sanitary storm sewer improvements at the southwest quadrant of Public Square. These are just a few of the projects planned for 2024. We've been working hard on getting more housing development started in our city. Dirt is being moved with the West Commons apartments now. The permitting, they haven't been issued yet, but permitting is in the works to begin the Terrace Ridge apartments. Hopefully you remember the housing strategy that was completed countywide in 2019. At that time, it showed the city of Angola could use 54 new housing units each year for the next 10 years. And I'm sure that number is much higher now that this was done before the housing crunch came about. Because of this, we are in discussions with 4 other developers for building both single-family and multifamily housing in our city. And although the economy seems to be strong, we are having the same problem keeping up with the trend for higher wages as all businesses are having. This is especially true in our police and fire departments. Public safety is always a number one concern for our emergency responders. We need to be competitive with our surrounding agencies. The need for safety is for our citizens and visitors. However, we must remember that we also need to protect the safety of our employees as well. And I believe this budget puts us in a competitive position with the communities in our area. So I look forward to sitting down with our common council members and our department heads to get our budget set this coming week. And Ryan, got a date picked out that they can vote on?
I had tentatively set it for the 12th, which would be next Tuesday. I guess we need to make sure everybody's available next Tuesday evening. I was thinking 5 o'clock. We could go later.
I'm not.
Not available Tuesday? About Thursday?
I'm not.
Thursday.
Is there any reason we can't meet during the day? I guess that doesn't work for Jerry.
No,
Yeah, I forget. I'm sorry.
it's in the early afternoon. I could just work half a day.
The other option would be later on Monday. There's a plan commission meeting Monday, but we could meet after the plan commission meeting.
Time.
Councilman Olson said he'd be available at any time. I talked to him.
I spoke to him also, yeah. How long do plan commission meetings usually last? Usually that was 6, 7, 7.
Depends on
Usually
Smart Play's agenda.
Usually doesn't last much more than an hour.
The soonest I would do is 6:30.
6:30? 6:30 Monday work for everybody, or 7? Should we go to 7 just to be safe, Jennifer? Should be all right, 6:30?
So the 11th, 6:30,
11th at 6:30.
conference room, you want to do it in here?
Probably, there's more room in here.
Thank you.
11th at 6:30. I will inform Councilmember Olson. I did contact him today to make sure before we talked about it.
Okay, anything else on that?
That's it.
Okay, now that I present the budget, Clerk Treasurer Herbert presents the 2023 Budget Management Report. You get the real numbers now.
That's not bad. The Office of the Clerk Treasurer is pleased to present the administration and department heads with the budget management report for governmental activities. So as a reminder, this does not include water and sewer. Baker Tilly does that portion of it. The report is historical, current, and projected revenues, expenditures, and cash balances for governmental funds over a period of 8 years. This comprehensive financial plan is updated periodically as revenues, expenditures, and legislation change. The report may be used as a reference tool during the annual budget process. The report compiles information on operating, capital, pension funds, and includes the city's 2023 amended and 2024 proposed budget. Just to hit a few highlights. Historically, the city has achieved a healthy cash balance for operating funds. That trend is expected to continue. Levy operating funds will maintain at least a 50% cash operating balance and exceed that. There are several changes to revenues in 2024. The levy growth factor for property tax increases has been set at 4%. Statutorily, it will not change from that. We're going to look probably at 4% going forward in the years to come. In 2023, we actually had a 5% growth factor. Local income tax revenues are estimated to increase by 6.8% for 2024. 2023 increase was 11.6%. A little bit of that was attributed to the fact that they changed the capture period for the local income tax and adjusted it because of COVID. So the 2020 period was shortened, which made it lower. So 2023's increase seemed higher than the previous years. So 6.8%, although lower than 2023, is a pretty good number and probably more realistic of an entire 12-month period. And local income taxes have become a major portion of our city revenues. 2022 revenues exceeded expenditures, creating an operated surplus of $1.7 million. That's the second consecutive year of a surplus. 2021 was about $1.9 million. So our cash reserves are quite high. Last year, about this time when we went over this report, we talked about how we were looking at a budget deficit of about $1.1 million in operating. And a lot of that was attributed to large projects and capital needs, and was not really a problem because we're carrying such large cash reserves. The trend, the way the 2024 budget is set now, the trend will continue with a deficit, although the deficit's much smaller at $450,000. And that trend looks to reverse itself in 2025, as again, a lot of that's attributed to larger projects. Another thing to keep in mind is, as you look through the report, when I budget revenues, I'm pretty conservative with that. And for 2023 and 2024, we've seen a very large increase in our interest income. Right now, we are every month taking in more interest on our investments than we did in 2020 and 2021, both years combined. We're doing more than that than both now. So I would suspect by the time we get to the end of this year that the interest income is going to actually eliminate a lot of the deficit that we budgeted for. So we're looking in really good shape throughout the rest of this year and going into next year. But I would say that the administration should continue to use caution when considering adding personnel and benefits, services, and any capital outlays beyond the normal scope. Capital funds. We have three major capital funds. The CCI fund, which relies on cigarette tax distributions, brings in about $20,000 a month. We haven't budgeted anything out of that fund in several years. We're looking at a balance of about $143,000 at the end of 2023. Late Economic Development Fund typically receives about $700,000 per year in revenues. That also is estimated to go up about 6.6% in 2024. We rely on the Lit Economic Development Fund for a lot of our large projects. In fact, this year we've got the 2024 budget. We've got one of the legs of the downtown streetscape, our contribution to the South Side Trail, and a couple other projects budgeted out there. The remaining major capital fund would be the Local Major Moves Construction Fund. We haven't budgeted any significant projects out of that in quite some time, and we are looking at about a $2.4 million balance remaining in that after the end of 2023. Past practice has demonstrated that the city administration is committed to priority-driven budget. In 2024, budget expenditures are expected to exceed revenues by about $450,000. Again, that's driven by larger projects and capital needs. This deficit can be supported by substantial increases in cash balances over the last 3 years and may be eliminated altogether with revenues that come in over what I'm projecting. Projected forward, even though with the current revenue estimates, that deficit is expected to reverse itself in 2025 anyway. Although current cash reserves are high, I urge continued restraint, budgeting, operating funds in order to maintain existing services and preserve the projected ending cash balances. And if you have any questions about this report, please feel free to contact me anytime. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. request from both of you. Paper copies be made available to all candidates that are up for election this year. And an invitation be extended to them to attend the budget workshop. It is a request.
Certainly. Do we,
Open anyway.
it's an open
It's
public
an
meeting.
open public meeting
Yeah, I
anyway,
just want to
so.
make sure that they know they're welcome to be there and paper copies be available to them if they.
More than welcome. We'll reach out to them. Now they'll probably say they can't meet on Monday.
Well, I just might go that far.
Okay, reports. Right,
Nothing for me, Matt.
Tim?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Pat.
Well, I know I don't need to remind you because I'm sure you're all planning on it, but tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we've got the park board public hearing for input into the 5-year master plan. So we hope to see some people there and share some ideas. We're just kind of planning an open table discussion. So hope to see some people there
Where would that be, Matt?
at Commons Hall,
Thank you.
Yep.
What was the time again, Matt?
10 a.m.
Downstairs, upstairs.
upstairs.
Two?
No report, sir.
No report. No report, sir. Nope. Chief? No report. Amanda?
No report.
Chief?
No report, sir.
Okay. Request approval of allowance of accounts payable vouchers, 64,567 to 64,793, totaling $925,140.63.
That we pay the bills.
Those seconded. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Is there any other new business? If not, this meeting is over and the next common council meeting is Monday, September 18th. Thank you all for coming.
Mayor, council members, I won't be here